guys, thanks for tuning in to my Ahri guide. I'm DG Armandoh and I'm currently the mid laner for Team Defective Gaming. I fell in love with Ahri about 1.5 years ago and I've made her ever since. In this video I will go through some of the points I've also discussed in my guide. A link to the guide is written right in the description below. Alright, in this video I will discuss the pros and cons, runes and masteries, the abilities and the laning phase for Ahri. In future videos I will also cover item builds, roaming, vision abuse, team fighting and some tips and tricks. But let's talk about Ahri for a bit now. Ahri is a high burst mobile assassin who has the potential to delete enemies without them even noticing her. She has built-in damage amplifiers and one of her abilities even deals true damage. How great is that? She's very good at clearing waves and has a charm that scales from 1 second up to 2 seconds long. All of this does come with a price. She's very vulnerable for hard CC. If the enemy team manages to stun lock you down, it's bye bye Ahri. Also, she's very reliant on having her ult up, and if it's on cooldown, she has to play really carefully. But the best thing about her, she's a sexy fox. Alright, let's start with setting up the right runes and masteries. I generally use this page. Since Ahri has a 550 auto attack range, which is bigger than for instance Orianna's and Xerath's, she can harass her lane opponent a lot with her auto attacks. This is why I have the hybrid penetration marks. Next up are the seals. I always go with scaling health seals. The reason why is that Ahri is very vulnerable for hard CC and will be one of the main targets for your opponents in team fights. The extra health that these seals give you can help you a lot escaping the first round of focus and then coming back to do some cleanup duty. For glyphs I have scaling ability power to give you an extra damage boost in the late game, and for quintessences I run flat AP to give you some nice damage in the early game. Alright, as you can see I have several more rune pages for Ahri. I have this page with armor for heavy AD based teams, for instance if their jungler, mid and top lane are AD based. I have scaling MR against double AP comps, for instance a Lissandra top and a LeBlanc mid. And last but not least, I have an attack speed page against melee champs. I love running this page against Zed, Talon, Kassadin and Akali for instance. Alright, now let's have a look at our masteries. I use 21 points in offense and 9 points in utility. Take points in sorcery to lower the cooldown on your abilities. Next up, Mental Force, Arcane Mastery and Archmage to boost your ability power. Then I have 3 points in Executioner to make sure your enemies won't get up once you burst them down. Arcane Blade is a great mastery since your auto attacks will deal a lot of damage with it late game. Last but not least, Devastating Strikes for 6% armor and magic pen, and Havoc for 3% increased damage overall. Then the utility tree. I have 3 points in Fleet of Foot for a nice boost in my movement speed. Summoner's Insight reduces my summoner spells with 10% on cooldown, which means I will have my flash back up 30 seconds earlier. Runic Affinity will make my boss last 10% longer, because who doesn't love a blue buff? And Alchemist finally enlarges the duration of my potions with 10%, giving me an extra 15 HP per health potion. Next up, Ahri's abilities. We're gonna start with her passive. Each target hit by Ahri's spells give her a stack, up to a maximum of 3 stacks per ability. When she reaches a total of 9 stacks, her next ability will heal her for a flat amount, scaling with her level and ability power. This is a great sustained passive, and it basically means that you can get a heal every 2 waves, giving her a lot of trading potential in lane. To use this passive optimally, use a Q and a W for the first wave. When the next wave is coming in, activate your W to gain 3 stacks more. This gives you a total of 9 stacks. Next up, throw your Q through the whole minion wave. A wave without a cannon minion consists of 6 minions, giving you 12 heal procs. Remember that you always want to use your Q when your passive is up, because the W can only give you 3 maximum heals. Another thing you can do is throwing your Q at the raptor camp. This either gives you 3 passive stacks, or if you decide to settle for it, it gives you 8 heal procs. Next up is her Q, the Orb of Deception. This is a straight line skill shot that travels through monsters, minions and champions. The orb deals damage when moving forward and when coming back. However, on its way back, the orb deals true damage, completely ignoring your opponent's resistances. This is your number one damage and wave clear spell, and therefore your number one priority to max. An important thing to notice is that the orb will always come back to Ahri. This means that you can alter its return route by walking, flashing, and even by ulting. This can turn some all-in fights around if you can make sure that you hit the second proc. Next up, the W, Foxfire. This spawns 3 Foxfires around Ahri that will lock into their own targets. They all have their own range, so controlling it will take some practice. However, they do prioritize champions over monsters and minions. Foxfire doesn't instantly lock onto damaging targets. What you can do is cancel the animation with your ult. This will make the Foxfire damage their targets instantly. It can also be cast while walking without stopping the animation of walking. This ability scales really well with level and AP, making it a wise second priority spell. Next up, the E, Ahri's Charm. It is a straight line skill shot that charms the first target it hits. The duration of the charm scales from 1 up to 2 seconds long. It also amplifies Ahri's magic and true damage dealt to this target by 20%. In general, you want to wait for this ability to land before going all in. How to fish for charms in the fog of war will be discussed in a later video. Finally, her ult. This gives Ahri 3 dashes with a range slightly larger than Flash. Every dash sends out 3 projectiles to targets in range, with a maximum of 1 projectile per target. This is Ahri's great mobility tool. She can use it for engaging, escaping, kiting, chasing and repositioning. Be very careful when it's on cooldown, since it's your only escape ability. Alright, with all the abilities discussed, let's have a look at her laning phase. I will show you how to use the passive now. As you can see, the orb is green rather than blue. This means that your passive is up. I wait for the whole minion wave to come in before throwing it, and you will see what happens. I get some poke from Zed, but my passive heals me up a lot. This is just a great sustain. Next up, how to use the EQ combo. As you can see, Zed is a bit pushed up. He's gonna use his shadow soon, and I will wait for him to see if he reactivates it or not. And there we go. Zed loses nearly all its HP. Finally, I'm gonna show you a little trick. Since your W prioritized champions over monsters and minions, have a closer look at what I'm about to do. Zed is still in lane, very low on HP. I activate my W, I flash, and it instantly procs on Zed, giving me an easy kill. Alright, with the laning phase discussed, we have gone through everything of this first video. I hope you learned a lot, and I hope you will leave some comments if you have any questions left. Thanks for watching the first episode of my Ahri guide. Leave a like if you enjoyed it, and I will see you on the Rift.
Don't you trust me?